Hello, everybody. Welcome to another AMA here, free on YouTube. And it's as such, I need to keep that in mind as I give my answers. But if anything gets a little too controversial, that's what the Patreon's for. So Joanna was kind enough to join me here as we're joining. Hello, Joanna. How you doing? Joanna's been working very hard. She's been working very hard behind the scenes on everything from social media to the website to other websites for CryptoConfidential. And as if you notice, I put a ticker down the bottom so I don't have to do promotion the entire time. I put there's the newsletter, there's my website, there's my calendar, there's my phone number, and there's Patreon. It's all there scrolling across. So whenever you need it, it's there. So, okay. So, market's finally turning a little green today while we wait for people to show up to see. We've got a couple people popping in. So it's just, well, I might have started early. Why did it said it was time, but now my phone says it's 1 minute of. Okay, well, now it's time. So we're here. We're live for the next hour where you're answering any crypto questions you have, any economic questions you have, any life questions you have, anything that we can answer on YouTube. We'll be happy to answer on YouTube. It's an Ask Me Anything, so you can literally ask me anything. So happy to be hosting here. Happy to be entertaining your questions. Just drop a comment down in the chat room as we're talking, and I'll field those questions. But let's see. It's anything major moving in the market today. It was kind of quiet today. I know that the legislation's been, a lot of people have been talking about the legislation that came out and trying to decipher that. I just posted Max's video breaking that down. A lot of people are looking at the $200 line about like anything under $200 is not taxable. But they're still deciphering, and as I mentioned in my video the other day, just because it's proposed as a bill, it's far from becoming a law. It's got to get through committees, voted twice, and signed off on, and so on. So, all right. So Marjorie's here, just listening. Great. That's welcome, Marjorie. See, Bitcoin's floating right at 30K. Nothing moving too much. I did see that Zilliqa keeps talking about their new metaverse, and I just saw Divi. Obviously, we talked about the Divi wallet. There was something else. Somebody launched something that it's been tough to get positive news out there. Theta's been doing well. It's been pretty slow this week, though. Everybody's been looking at things, and they're looking for financial numbers to come out yet again. But let's see. Okay, so a couple people just watching here. Nobody asked any questions yet, so I'm just going to keep rambling until people post a question. But if you've got a question, please throw it down in the chat. Joanna, anything I should be talking about? Any questions from me? Any updates I should be talking about?
No, but if you guys aren't watching his videos, you really need to be watching his videos. He's putting out excellent content. I'm like, oh, nice, yay!
Thank you.
Make sure you're watching his videos.
Yeah, I was talking to a client yesterday, and she's like, "You have a lot of videos. You work really hard." I'm like, "Well, thank you." I've cut back. I really am doing Monday through Thursday pretty much. That's the videos of just to keep YouTube happy. I put out 4 or 5 videos a week, usually Monday through Thursday at 6 p.m. Eastern. And I started teasing them a little bit more on Instagram and getting that out there on the Twitter and such about, here's a quick summary of like what's to come today, rather than like, and my videos aren't that long. They're usually under 10 minutes. I try to keep them under 10. Today's was a little longer. There's a lot more to say, and I had to record it twice. Yeah, there's lots going on. There's lots. Some days it feels like I should just have a camera on me, just like follow me around and whatever I'm talking about and or what I'm watching. So I'm watching anything from Economic Ninja to the Uneducated Economist, you name it. I mean, if you watch my watch history, hopefully it's nothing. Afford me a few stupid videos in there now and then, but for the most part, my videos that I'm watching out there, it's like there's a lot of good stuff out there that people are talking about, and a lot of people are trying to piece it all together, and it's not easy because we're in uncharted waters. This is brand new. They are trying to do certain things, and I put today's video was about an hour, not an hour, about 15 minutes or so of just me piecing together the last 100-ish years of the world economy in the U.S.'s place and how they went from isolationist and nationalist to globalist, back to nationalist, and now they're trying to get back to globalist again. And outsourcing, all that stuff factored in. It's a lot of things they put together in your head. And the uneducated economist makes a pretty good argument about the supply chain, having a much bigger factor in pricing and inflation than not. But I think people, like, just think about it for yourself. I think right now people are very, very concerned about spending any dollars and just kind of holding them as much as they can. But at the same time, people need to prepare for, things could get even in shorter supply. I've been saying right now, go find your local market, find your local organic market, your farmer's market, find your local butcher, because we're going to get much more local going forward. And those are the kind of relationships you need to establish now, so that these farmers know that you're out there and you're interested in what they have to sell. So thank you, Deborah. I appreciate that comment. I'm glad to hear it. You're doing well. Hope everything's good, going good, and that your daughter's healing up nicely. Let's see. We've got 5 people watching. We're not getting a lot of questions right now, so don't make me end this early, people. Don't make me end this early. Ask me some questions. That's not a threat. I will go watch. I guess the next episode of The Boys, which is really graphic this season, very bloody, but good story. I've running out of a few series. I'm gonna have to start getting a few new series in the queue, but I can only stomach so much of what they put on TV. I have to find a couple of decent series now and then, just to distract myself and just unwind with a TV show now and then, something other than watching X-22 each evening. That I still do that as well. But yeah, there's lots of people that I watch and keep up with. And George, if you're not watching Cryptos R Us from time to time, George does a very good job, and he breaks it up into kind of an AMA, like this format, with the news in front. He does about 30 to 45 minutes in the evening and does one in the morning as well. So he's a great channel. Not that I'm promoting too many other channels, but other channels are starting to follow me, which is kind of cool. So that's it's interesting out there. And I'm going to be reaching out to Daniel Pace, and he just set up a second node for the CryptoConfidential team, a Theta staking node. There was a Guardian node, and now we're doing an Edge node. I just pledged some T-Fuel to it, so it's working. So we'll be getting that out there, and that's going to be open to the public, and it's cheaper than G-Pool. It's like 3% versus 4%, and it helps CryptoConfidential get their name a little bit further out there in the marketplace and talking to the Theta team and so on. So Daniel and I will be talking in a little bit. Probably doing like an update on Theta like once a month, like similar to what Patrick and I do on Divi. Deborah, the question. All right, somebody throwing down a question here. If banks go down with the economic downturn, which Cliff is hinting at, what happens to mortgages? Can't imagine that banks are going to want to do lots of REOs on their books. Okay, now you're going down a rabbit hole that I'm pretty comfortable with. So mortgages, it depends on if the bank holds the mortgage and services the mortgage itself. And understand that credit unions are different than FDIC banks. There's different tiers of banks. There's the top banks, which are like the top 250 or so, maybe about 200 or so. I think they have to have 250 billion of assets under management or higher. And I made a video about this, about the bail-ins, and I put the link in there. But you can find out if it's a bank. Any bank that's regional or national is probably a bank that has a bail-in issue. And the good news is that they probably don't service their own mortgage. They package it and sell it into let's see. There's commercial bank mortgage securities. Those are CBMSs. I don't know what they do. They're residential, but they basically package all the mortgages together and sell them on the stock exchange. So they will take they categorize them like different letters, kind of like bonds. So someone with a great credit score and in great history of their mortgages, that will be paired with something that's kind of like a marginal mortgage. They'll bundle it all together. And then what they do is they sell it as a whole package of like 100 mortgages that the street has to buy. And then so a servicing company, let me back up one second. So let's say you refinance with your bank. Your bank is already, probably by the time you get to closing, they already have a buyer for that mortgage. So they're going to sell that mortgage. They're going to sell it at a discount because to them, it's free money. They've created the money out of nothing with a mortgage. The money didn't exist before, and now all of a sudden it's a revenue stream because you're signing your name to it and you're going to be making payments. Yes, they did finance, or took care of the other paper, or if there was no paper there, but they created it. But then they're going to they recapitalize themselves by selling that mortgage. They usually don't keep it in-house. A credit union or a smaller bank may keep it in-house and they'll service it. That mortgage will probably stay in place. The ones that have been sold really depends on who now owns it. But I think a mortgage servicing company is going to be in a world of hurt because we've already seen that mortgage companies are starting to lay people off, just like the Coinbase and Kraken. Wait, Coinbase and Gemini laid off some people, and I saw that. I think it was Kraken. No, like Binance and Coinbase were laying off people, and Gemini said they were going to hire them or something like that. It was somebody is looking to hire, the other people are being laid off. But in the mortgage area, they're laying off a bunch of people, and it's going to be really hard for them to deal with these mortgages. They do not want to take properties back. When a bank takes a property bank, it's an REO, like Deborah points out, which is real estate owned. It's not a complicated abbreviation. This means the bank now owns it. They've taken back the deed, the property, the mortgage. They own it. But understand that on a bank's books, it doesn't make any sense on the face value. But a property owned by a bank is not an asset, but it's a liability, because now it's something that it's a bad mortgage, and they can't lend against that bad mortgage. So if they have $1 million of property that they own through REO, they could be $10 million that they can't lend out. So they want to get those properties off their books to clear them off and be able to create new mortgages, because that's their lifeblood. That's what they want to do. So yes, they will be dumping them on the market if they take them back, but odds are they are probably going to be talking to the mortgage holder, and the last thing they want to do is foreclose. They want to work out some kind of agreement with the mortgage holder, something, and that's going to be happening a lot. So there we go. So that's it's going to be very tricky. And if it gets to be a lot, like in 2008, there was a ton of REOs, and the mortgage industry, just the rates went up. Qualification became very hard. It's still pretty hard right now, and banks are not going to want to take them back. So banks, but Cliff's saying the banks, if the banks go down, like the banks won't be there to take back the property. That's another interesting thing. So you have to be looking to see if the bank, if your mortgage holder goes down, I'm not sure what happens to mortgage in that situation. So that's I'm going to say Bank of America is your mortgage company. If Bank of America doesn't exist tomorrow, I don't know who owns that asset or who even make the mortgage payment to. It just may be declared a bad asset. Somebody may buy it on pennies on the dollar, but if your bank gets bought, if your bank crumbles and you get a mortgage with them, I probably would be thinking twice about making a payment, and I'd be looking to find out what's going on a little bit further. Hey, Carrie, to see you just joined. She's rewinding. You'll catch up shortly. It's pretty simple to catch up today. But again, we're just waiting on questions, and anybody that wants to fire off a question, I'm more than happy to accept it. That was a great question, Deborah. I appreciate that. Let's see. What else have I been looking at lately? I've been looking at all the different projects. It's been slow for the news until this past week, and it really picked up. I dropped a bunch of news yesterday. I saw that RSR is coming out with their main net. I don't have a date for that yet, but that's really good news. That's a project that's been doing well in a very bad market. And it's a question, and that's backed by both Binance and Coinbase. So we'll just wait and see how that works, because they are a stable coin project, but it's not an algorithms stable coin. So we'll have to see how that works out and how that fits into all the legislation. All right, Tom's here. Good to see you, Tom. So Tom and Carrie and Deborah, Tom, let's see, Carrie's not caught up, but anybody who has questions, feel free to throw them in the chat, and I'll get it to them straight away as I'm just kind of chatting along. But yeah, if you don't have a question, you got to have something that you want to talk about. You're here, so let's see what you want to chat about and converse. So let's see. Carrie asks, would you put your money in a stable coin and wait for another dip, or do you think it won't hit 27,000 again? I've been hesitant because I feel a crash coming. Well, here's the issue, and that is a lot of people are saying another dip is coming. And Joanne, I think you would agree with what you've been hearing, correct?
Yes, I agree.
Yeah. So the question there is that you cannot predict the future. Okay. Everything that I've been looking at and everything that George has been looking at, other people looking at, screams that Bitcoin is in a buy spot. It is at the bottom of the rainbow chart. It is the prices are low. It's at a double bottom. The RSI and the weekly is very low. The fear and index is very low. So all these indicators are saying you should buy, but the best answer is the answer we always give: dollar cost average. And as far as Bitcoin versus other coins, if you can't decide, split it. So if for 27,000, I would just would dollar cost average it. And let's just say, like, if you think that something's dramatic is going to happen between now and November, chop it into, say, $5,000 allotments, and then just say, all right, what am I going to do with the first 5,000? And if you think Bitcoin is in a great spot or another coin is in a great spot, then buy those. And the next month, make the same decision. In the meantime, you could put that 27, or you could put, I just picked that 27,000 because it was on the screen. But if you had $27,000, you could put it in USDC and be making interest on it, or you could put it in a liquidity pool and be making something on it. But again, you get paid some. USDC is the most profitable way the most stable way to grow your dollar amount, because if you're putting it into a liquidity pool or staking it, you're getting paid in more coins, and the value of that coins in fiat, you need to do another translation back to the dollar. Whereas USDC is USDC. It's tied to a dollar. It is the #1 stable coin. I don't trust Tether at all. And you can go to many locations where you can stake and get USDC at 5 to 15%. And you can get a couple percent on your money. So if you had $27,000, you could be making $400 or $500 on it this month. And then while you decide to put what to do with the other 20,000 if you're going to invest 5. So, all right.
Yeah, even referring to your Exodus wallet, they call it rewards. You can be looking at your Exodus wallet, looking at the which cryptos drawing what I call interest, but they call it rewards, and that might be something that you might also want to consider. Because like with Tezos, I love Tezos, and that I'm getting, like, I get every 3 days, I get another half of a Tezo because of what I have invested in, and my vet constantly just keeps accumulating. So that might be something to think about as well. So that when this stuff does run.
Yeah. Yeah. You want to add coins when the market is down. You want to add dollar value when the market goes up. And that's when you take profits and you add more coins. That's how you're supposed to do it. And if you're cash strapped, you can always look and see what coins are up versus other coins you want to be in, and then you can swap between the two if the disparity is large enough. I usually say somewhere between 7 and 10% or more, then it's worth doing an exchange if you want to get into that project. Deborah, you're welcome. I'm glad that she's doing well. Shit, Deborah's daughter fell off of a horse, but broke her leg, but she's okay. She's fine. She's gonna live. She'll be fine. So. Let's see. So going through the questions, Carrie comes with a question, and thank you for throwing some questions up there. I appreciate it. Hi, Eva. I'll get to yours in a second. If I need help making a plan, commandment number 10, would you suggest I set up an appointment with you or Divvy Daddy? Is this something you could help me with? Absolutely. That's an appointment with me. No question. And in fact, ticking down below on that where it says Calendly/LitecoinLeader with the underscore, that's my calendar. You can pick out a time. And my rates are a little bit lower this month because I know that everybody's hurting. So I'm trying to help you with the pain. So if you need help and you need a consultation, then your phone numbers for a quick call. We can talk about, we can help you. Or if you have a question about the newsletter and CryptoConfidential, that ticker's on the bottom of CryptoConfidential.news. And Joanna and I are working on more things for affiliates that are coming probably in a couple of weeks. Then you have my calendar, you have my website, you have my phone number, and you have my Patreon. And I just added, I added a follow-up video to my video from 2 hours ago because I was shooting videos nonstop today. And that was another 20-minute video I put on Patreon that explains a little bit in greater detail the history of the U.S. and the world economy for the last 100-ish years. I don't know how I did in 20 minutes, but I kind of put it there. So we'll see. So, and I did the history, the factual history as much as I know it in about 15 earlier today. So I think that's a pretty good history lesson. If I had been able to attend that class in college or high school for 35 minutes and get both those lessons, I would be a happy camper, but can't always do that. All right. So thank you for that, Gary.
And to go back, as I learned more about the CryptoConfidential and the 4 people that started this, which was, you can look at Omar's credentials. He's a businessman. And I can't remember the attorney's name off the top of my head, but she's an attorney. So, and then when you look at Jeff and what Patrick brings to the table, I mean, you guys have a dynamic team, and I hope you're utilizing them and asking them questions, because you can actually ask the attorney and Omar questions with confidence, knowing you're going to get a solid reply. And then from Jeff and Patrick's experience with the world of crypto, it's like, wow. And then you've got Omar and the attorney backing you up. I mean, the more I learn about CryptoConfidential and the more I really grasp the whole concept of everybody's knowledge and backgrounds and education. For what is it, $14.95 is cheap. It's cheap, because when you sit with an attorney, how much are they going to charge you to ask the questions? Answer the questions. I mean, so you guys are getting such a deal. And two AMAs a month. You could be sitting writing questions out through the month, and then as you get on the AMAs, ask your questions, because if you're going to ask it, somebody else is thinking it. So anyways, I just want to throw that out there, because I am so overwhelmed and impressed with CryptoConfidential. I'm just like, wow, I had no clue.
Thank you. That's quite the endorsement. I appreciate that. And I mean, Patrick and I were originally talking last year. We talked to so many clients last year. They wanted to get our opinions on everything. So we thought, how can we put it all together so people can get it? And then Omar had the idea of putting together a newsletter and circulating that. And his analogy is that he is building the racetrack, and Patrick and I are the race car drivers. So he's just letting us run around as fast as we can. And he's building the infrastructure, which is great. And then Michelle Harper, Justin's wife, she's the attorney. She's with Purple Owl Consulting, and if you don't know that information, I can always get that for you. She's fantastic, and between those and the guest articles we had Tim Brown come on from ProBitcoinSolutions and talk about security. We had Daniel Pace, who's helped set up the Divi nodes. The Theta nodes, and he came on. He talked about the Theta project, and he'll be joining me on this channel in a little bit, probably next week. I'll probably get that released, where we talk about the Theta project and updates there. So I'm trying to do all these different projects, all these different things that are going on, and trying to get, I need to hear from you guys, because this channel and all my content really is driven from you guys. What do you guys want to see? Let me know. I mean, we have comments below. We have a real-time chat. You can always drop me you can see all the way you can get a hold of me just here, scrolling across the ticker here. It's LitecoinLeader on Instagram, LitecoinLeader on Telegram, J Pinnacle 2 on Twitter, and then of course Jeff at LitecoinLeader. There's so many ways to get a hold of me and let me know what your thoughts are. I do want to hear them. I would love to know, because some of the best content I've ever made has come from questions from you guys. So that's why I like doing these AMAs. I like to know if I can answer these questions, and usually I can. And I just texted Patrick, who I think is let's see. Apparently, you can swap USD. I'm answering Eva's question. So on KuCoin, I believe you can swap USDC through for USDT, and then swap USD or USDC for Bitcoin. So it is a double swap. But on KuCoin, you can do it, according to Patrick. I don't think it's a one swap transition. You'd have to get USDT on KuCoin is the trading pairs for Divi on KuCoin are USDT and Bitcoin. So I would recommend you go on there, swap USDC for USDT, and then get right out of Tether, buy your Divi, and be done. So
yeah, don't hold on too tight with USDT, because when you look at the situation with Luna, and just know that and I'm going to go back, because I'm so blown away every time I learn more. But with CryptoConfidential, when you join, just like you can reach Jeff through Telegram, or you can also reach all these people through Telegram. So you have two great resources where, if you need an answer right now, you've got Telegram, so I thought, wow, that's right.
Yeah. So it really, we try to make it's tough, because it's a fractured world. Communication is all over the planet right now with all these different ways to get a hold of people. But we try to get it down. When you're on Patreon, you drop me a message, it's definitely me. When because I had an imposter last week. We talked about security last week. Somebody hopped onto my Telegram channel and tried to pretend that they were me, which was yeah, I was like, okay. Everybody smoked him out before. He did it like Saturday night, and I wasn't even paying attention. And someone said, "Oh, don't pay attention, just block that guy." And I think Papa Joe was just toying with him, trying to get more information out of him. But they used a burner phone. it happens more and more. Everybody gets fake accounts. I know that Dylan Bradley's gotten some. I know Papa Joe has. I know Miss Teen Crypto gets a lot of them. I know Bitcoin Ben gets a lot of them too. It's just par for the course that you cannot trust these accounts. And if you don't know if it's me, I rarely direct message somebody if I don't have a direct conversation with them beforehand or in Telegram. I may say, hey, sidebar, I'll send you a DM in the open forum, and then you'll know it's coming. But if you don't know if it's me, because I do message people on occasion on Instagram or Telegram, if you don't know it's me, check with me on one of the other methods, because I've got like 12 different ways to get a hold of me. If you'd send a message to my 240 number, I will confirm, because I think Christy had to do that last week. She said, "Did you call me from this number?" Because she had another number, because I have two numbers, and she confirmed. So I'm like, okay, there we go. So that's how you confirm things. All right, let me get back to a couple of questions here. First off, I got to share that. Carrie, thank you. Really appreciate that. We need to start collecting feedback like that and putting that out there for marketing purposes. We're working on more marketing stuff to really build, and we want to get everybody affiliate links as well that's a member, so that it's very easy for them to say, hey, just join. Here's the way, and everybody, that way you get I mean, if you join CryptoConfidential and you have an affiliate link, by referring to people, you pay for your subscription. That's how rewarding the affiliate program is. So you get 50% of the first year subscription if you have someone through your link. So it's quite a deal, and it's our job as the writers and creators behind CryptoConfidential to keep you beyond year one. That's our job. So far, so good. I mean, we're in our first year, but everybody seems to be happy, and we just keep doing what people want to see. So I know they love these AMAs. So let's see what else. Welcome to the show. The more you know, crypto. Love the last month's issue. Let's see. Thank you, Tom. All right. Next question is really from Carrie. And this was from a video. I remembered this video because it was kind of off the beaten path, but it was a video where it was talking about the world has already reached peak production in oil. Now, that was based on the current knowledge of geology and the earth, whether that's the right science or not. But what the answer is, I will tell you what the video is saying, is that like based on their knowledge of how big the deposits are and the rate of extraction from the planet, they are thinking that we've already reached the peak oil production from that process of extracting it from the earth. The easiest way to get oil out of the earth is just drilling it and getting the liquid crude and just dealing with it that way. That's getting harder and harder to do. That's why there's fracking and there's shale and there's all these other processes and deep sea expeditions for all these state like these platforms out in the Gulf or out in the North Sea. That's harder and harder to get these oil deposits. So what the video was saying was that we've reached the peak of companies being able to get what I'll call free oil or freely available oil from these deposits that are easily reachable by most oil drilling terms. So dropping out, like it's not like quite like the Beverly Hillbillies where you just shoot in the backyard and black oil starts pouring out. But it used to be that way in Texas. I mean, you could just drill and you'd hit a deposit and then that's it. But now deep sea expeditions are not the same nearly in the cost or the difficulty of getting that oil. So that's what the video is saying. It's saying that we've already reached the peak of peak oil, and I think it was 70s or 80s about what it's easy to get, and now it's harder and harder to get from this point forward. Joanna, what are you singing?
Come on, listen to my story about a man named Jed.
All right. First drink of the night. There we go. Barely kept us family fed, if I'm not mistaken. I used to know those words forwards and backwards. It was, when I was a kid. Oh man, TV reruns, Beverly Hillbillies, The Munsters, all these. I mean, those shows that went from the black and white to the color, like the colorization transition. Gomer Pyle, McHale's Navy, all those shows. Green Acres. I mean, stuff you see in like TV land now. If that's even exists anymore. I think it is, but. Okay. And
I don't know. I watch TV now. It's from my childhood.
Tom did answer about USDC as well. I did not know about the new model. I have not experimented enough with the Divi wallet. I haven't updated mine, but you apparently USDC for the Divi mobile will also work. So that's cool. Okay. The more you know, you guys are doing a great job. Appreciate your willingness to share your knowledge with others. Look, excuse me. To me, this wasn't a hard decision. I mean, a year and a half ago, when I was talking to Ben and others, and they were saying, you really need a channel, you really need a website, you really need to give back. And I'm like, and there was stuff in my life that I was preventing from me to do that. But I said, you know what, I do. And I decided it was one of the best decisions I ever made. Some days, I'll be honest, some days it's hard to make a video. And some days you're just like, nah, not doing it today. But being able to interact with the community and being a smaller voice that's growing in this field, I like it. And I think that more and more people, like when I go to like Shitcoin and Bitcoin 2022 and meet people and they're like, oh, okay, now they know who I am. And then we're talking and then you just get, that's just how it works. Like you become a bigger and bigger fish in a smaller pond. You just expand out. And it's part of giving back, but I want to be able, I say it all the time. I want to be the person I wish I had when I started, because that's how we're going to get to adoption. And I don't have a card laying around, but if you go to the get $40 on my website in the corner, I mean, you make those calls to action with like those cards with those QR codes that just say, here, you want Cash App, scan this. Hey, you want to do Nexo, there's this. And I'll explain, you do those two things and you get $40. So now we're not talking about, yes.
And what Jeff is doing is a model that can be duplicated. So what he's doing, you can do.
Yeah, I'm not holding this to myself. I mean, you can go and make that same video I made on my website for get $40 and make the same business cards. Go to Flow Code and make the card. I think I shared it with Patreons. If you guys want another video on that, I can do that. But basically, you're just making 2 QR codes, and the third one should be your website. But you don't have to promote that. People will be naturally inquisitive to scan that. I was actually told marketing people that they love that I don't mention it. So I think that's a good idea. So, but you give people like 2 QR codes and you give them free money that's not even yours, that they can go and they can go and get Bitcoin. They can learn how to move it. They can get money from Nexo, and they have a credit line. Now they have 2 apps that just paid them. Plus they have a credit line and they have some Bitcoin. So they have some skin in the game. So it costs you nothing but the cost of making the card, and you probably get a kickback from them making that. And you might get a different QR code. You might get one for BitPay. You might get one for the Litecoin card. You might get all these different things that are out there, or the Spend app. I mean, you just get find a way to say, hey, here's my card. By the way, you don't even say that. You don't even say you walk up to someone. I tell people, say, you look like somebody could use $40, and you're like, and they're immediately like, yeah, I could use $40. So now you got them. So now you're like, okay, well, here's what you need to do. Take this card, scan this. You have Cash App, scan it. You don't have Cash App, put it on your phone. Now get some Bitcoin, not financial advice, but get some Bitcoin, move it over to Nexo. They give you some more money. They give you a credit line, and boom, you've got money, and you're in the game. And that's as simple as that. You created adoption by giving them calls to action that reward them for taking that action. It's pure Pavlov response. You're like, hit this pedal, you get a piece of candy. They're going to want the candy. They want the money. They're going to go and do it. Gary's enjoying yourself. All right.
Yeah, and what I thought was real fascinating is when I was checking out cryptocurrencies back in 2016, I noticed that everybody was on the affiliate train. So, which is just residual income when you really look at it, because if you just keep promoting your affiliate link, if you look at when I was doing marketing, every 100 calls, you would get 2 signups. So just look at, marketing in that fashion, that here's your website with the same thing that LitecoinLeader's doing. And after every 100, we'll just say clicks, there's 2 signups of whatever. It could be more. I mean, it's affiliate marketing. I mean, you just market your website. Everybody goes to your website and there's all your affiliate stuff. Get $40.com, which is really more than $40.
Sure, it fluctuates. It's a minimum of 40. It can be almost up to 100. So, but I will answer Carrie's question in a second. Affiliate marketing is great, but I mean, if you're going to get most of your affiliates are $50 or less. That's why we really changed the game and flipped the script of CryptoConfidential.com, because our subscription is an annual subscription of $1,495. Sounds like a lot, but just over $100 a month. And it's basically just re-upping it every month. And then if you become an affiliate, everybody with the affiliate link, and all you have to do is be a member to become an affiliate. That affiliate, you get $750 for getting one person to sign up. You get, or 747, whatever it rounds out to be, but almost $750. That's the same as like 10. That's like 75 BitPay cards, or like all these affiliates that are $5 to $20. You need 75 to 100 of those minimum to catch up to one referral for CryptoConfidential. And we stand behind.
And this is where I get so excited about it, because $752.50 for each sign up. So you sign up, you promote it, and you just go out there and just tell everybody. I mean, you get the paper, you get the newsletter, you get all the information, the content, the information, and it's all there. I mean, it's not hard to promote at all, which I was like, wow. So that's why I put the video together like I did, because there's like nothing to it. And everything you need to know is right there for the training, and you have it in your hand. So you could just go around and say, look, for $14.95, this is what I get. And plus the affiliate part of it is I get half, $752.50, cha-ching, in my bank account. Sorry, I get so excited about it because I've never worked with an affiliate company that gives you half the subscription price.
It's big. It's definitely a revolution. And then every month you get the newsletter, which usually comes in an envelope, and you get it. And, I'm not doing this just with the camera, but you get these bonus reports. And not like you see, I haven't even opened it yet. This is the one about legally reducing your taxes. And here's the nice pretty one. Of course, I dropped it. The 10
and
crypto
Michelle's
commandments.
An attorney. Gosh,
Yes.
It just blows my mind that you guys have an attorney on staff. Omar, who's a businessman, connections all over the globe. So it's like, wow.
And he knows about going international and global because he works with it. He's done it himself. Our editor, Russ, has also done it. He lives in Belize. So he's moved from Canada to Belize. Also, Robert went from Australia to Mexico. So did Omar. So they understand. We have clients that have worked with Viva that have moved to Portugal. I mean, that we understand this is not just a U.S. thing. It is crypto is a global thing, and it's much bigger. As I've been pointing out in my videos for months, it is much bigger in non-U.S. countries or non-Western developed countries. Third world is going to go way faster than the first world because they're unbanked. They don't have any infrastructure. They're this is like Europe adopting wireless 30 years ago, because they're not going to dig up all the old buildings in Europe. They're just going to put Wi-Fi on top, or they're going to put cell phone networks on top. Well, it's like forever for the U.S. to bury cables and bury fibers and whatnot all over all over, because we're also so spread out. So the adoption is ready in these third world countries because there's a huge need, a huge use case. And it's already working in El Salvador. We had 44 other countries talking to El Salvador last month. There's a Central African Republic that wants to do more. It's not going to slow down. Okay, next question. This one could be a little trickier. Gene asks, I know you both from Bitcoin Ben's Texas events. Are you guys involved in Ben's Founders Worldwide Organization, the investment group thing? I was their Zoom last night. So officially, my answer is no. I am not affiliated with that. I was a founder. I was one of the original founders, but given the opportunity to join that investment group, I decided that I'm not. This is a general practical answer: is that I don't invest in anything where I don't see the paperwork for it, and I've never seen any paperwork, legal or anything documented from the founders group. So, as such, I'm not invested in it, and I probably will not. In fact, I'm
and I don't know what I did, and I don't know what I did, but I was booted. So I've reached out to Ben and Lori both. Neither have responded back to me. So I don't know what I've done. I just showed up for 3 events, and that was money lost. So
there is a hashtag very common in crypto called "Do Your Own Research." DYOR. I suggest you do that with the founders group too. Find out who's their legal representative. What is their plan on investment? Ask them anything you would ask of anything investment you would. When am I going to get my money back, and how? What are we going to invest in? How does this work? What's the structure? What's the legal entities? What's my exposure? What's my tax liability? All that stuff needs to be answered before you invest in anything. So that's the way I would go pursue that information. And I can't really comment more because I'm not involved. So that's the full answer. All right. Hopefully that answered your question. So let's see.
And I don't know nothing about it. I didn't even have a chance to get to learn anything about it. So, like,
no comment. No comment. Moving on.
Maybe I was best.
No comment. So Tom just got his BitPay card, and he did use my affiliate link, so I appreciate that. Tom, I never got around to telling you, but yeah, I got the $10, and it was deposited onto my BitPay card, so that was pretty cool too. But I actually was running from store to store today. I left one of my cards in my car, but I remember I had my BitPay card, so I took that out and I bought my lunch today and my sushi at the grocery store with my BitPay card. So that it worked just fine. So again, if you don't know the BitPay card, and I will tell the audience a little bit in something in a minute, a little bit inside skinny. But the BitPay card works. It's a wallet and a debit card. So on the wallet you can deposit. It's very easy to deposit Bitcoin, Litecoin, Ethereum, XRP, I think Doge, and I think maybe Tether. So like 5 or 6 coins is very easy. It's a wallet. You send it to the address, boom, it's there. And then there's a duality to it. Actually, whatever the 3 version of that, like a Trinity. But there's the duality part is that there's a second account, which is that if you want to, like, I want to deposit through, I want to make the card be liquid with a debit feature, have a debit card so I can swipe the card and it's treated like cash by a card reader. So you need to deposit, say I want to deposit $300. Well, it'll ask you, what of your crypto assets are we selling right now to make that happen? So it's going to do a swap inside of the app and sell it on whatever the quote price it is, take a small smidge of it, and then just say, okay, well, you've got your $300 for this much Bitcoin. And once the blocks settle, it'll be there. So, and you can pay it for expediting as well, but that's in an advanced setting. But it basically, you just whenever you want to say, like, if you want to spend your crypto today, say I want to have $500 on my card just in case I need it. You decide when you want to do that. If you think Bitcoin's high or Litecoin's high, you pick the coin, you transfer $500, and now you have $500 to spend. You can spend it right away. The third thing I was going to mention is you could also have a virtual card. There's like a virtual number that's for like Google Pay and Apple Pay stuff that works with it too. And there's also, you can get USDC and other currencies on there, but then you need a desktop version. And the inside skinny one I wanted to share is that I have been talking to BitPay directly the last couple of weeks, and I'm working on getting them either as an interview or something special with them. But BitPay did take note that I've been promoting them and talking about them a lot, which is great. And I'm actually talking to them directly. So stay tuned for more on that front. All right. Let's see. Okay. Catching up. Oh, a lot of comments. All right. What are your thoughts? What are your thoughts about starting a business in another country? Would you be taxed in both the U.S. and, say, El Salvador? Well, I defer to my crypto attorney. Keeps thinking back and falling behind here. But I default to my crypto attorney. But, you always want to seek out different opinions, and you want to know what the best countries are for crypto. I would say right now, used to be Singapore. Dubai is good. There's a few others. Portugal is still good too, but it's just really a matter of, like, I tell people that I would do things through a legal entity rather than actually physically moving to another country, because it's much easier to pick up and move a country than it is to pick up and move yourself. So think about it that way, and you're gonna have to seek somebody that's done international stuff before, and it can be pricey too. So keep that in mind as well. But once you've gone through the process and gotten it all structured the right way, it'll be worth it in the long run. But it really depends on a lot of factors. That's why it really is worth. Michelle Harper is worth every penny, and I don't say that about most anyone. I really don't. But to have someone that's intelligent as both an attorney and in the crypto space, and knows when she doesn't know something, she'll call one of us. And she said, "What can you tell me a little bit more about this thing?" Or she'll dig into the law and do homework. But usually it's the law side, not the crypto side. The crypto side, it's like she doesn't need to know about the projects. It's usually about the crypto side, and about the tax side and the legality side. So that's where she understands this, and she keeps up on the new legislation. And not only that, but she figures out what workarounds can be done if there's going to be new legislation passed that is going to restrict certain things. So, but she does say New York is not the place to be. That would be Green Acres. Okay, so let's see. What are your thoughts on Jack Mahler's Zap and the Strike app? Well, those are different questions. Jack Mahler's, for those who don't know, is the guy who invented Strike, and he's very outspoken. I think he's a Bitcoin maxi. He's a smart guy. I like him. I think he means well. But the Strike app works on the Lightning Network, and it's the first real deployment of the Lightning Network. That I think that's what they're using in El Salvador. I can't swear by it, but I do know that he just announced at Bitcoin 2022. He announced a partnership with somebody. I had it and then I lost it. Anyway, but Strike is working with somebody big, like I don't know. I don't think it was like Amazon, but it was somebody big as far as a retail to work with Strike. So it's pretty big. I like it. I like what he's doing. The Zap app, Zap. I really think that despite their best efforts of what they were trying to do, first they were trying to work with Wrapped Divi, with Divi about it like almost 2 years ago, and then they were working with I can't remember a really influential guy, but like is Szabo, like Nick Szabo might be his name. But anyway, they try to rebrand into an Oracle company. I think the Zap project is not doing too well. I really don't. I liked it originally, but I think it's kind of fallen off the rails. They haven't done very much on progress, and I don't know how deep their pockets are. That's the other thing. Is like you have to look at somebody. Like some of these projects may start having trouble because in the down market, where are they going to get to pay their employees, or how that's going to work? And I don't know. Like if their burn rate's too high, it's always a worry of a startup. Questions on this project, but I wouldn't really pursue Zap at this point. Okay. I think April, good advice. Good advice. Always see what's put in writing. Yep. Okay. You can take out 2,000 3 times a day. I thought it was 2,000 a day. So now you can take out $6,000 from an ATM. And so this is where you have to know, like, this is where living between the two worlds gets to be real. So if you have crypto and all your money's in crypto and you want to get cash and you don't keep it in the banks, how are you going to get cash? You take your BitPay card and you go to the ATM and you find out what ATMs have the highest limits. I think Bank of America is $1,000 a day. Other banks around are usually $800 a day. So I go to the Bank of America card. Bank of America pay like a $6 fee between the ATM and whatever the card charges me. So for $6 or $7, I get $1,000 cash. So that's a pretty good rate, less than one. That's like a 0.7% rate of recapitalizing myself if I want cash. Not a bad option. It's much better than having to deal with the bank. But I mean, you have to shop and you have to know like how the ATM was going to work and the timing of it all. So, but it is my number one card by far for getting crypto to fiat or paying things with crypto.
And one nice thing about the BitPay, PayPal's coming out with the same thing, the concept. But remember, they're out of China. So keep BitPay on your radar.
Who's out of China?
PayPal.
Oh.
PayPal owns China. I mean, China owns PayPal.
Yes. Okay. Let's see. All right. So catching up. New Divi Watt and Strike, a great on-ramp combo. That would be a very good combination. And eventually, well, with what Divi's doing now, with the fact that you can KYC and have a bank account and go straight on board for buying Litecoin and swap it to whatever you want. I mean, Nick said that on the Live at 5 the other night. So I think Divi's got that wallet is really going to catch fire. I think as soon as the Liga restarts, which I think would be about August. I think August is when they would start their schedule again because they need to move up in time and then make room for. Anyway, I think the soccer season starts around August and they break for the World Cup in November and December. But yeah, that I think that's a good time frame for. We may see a quiet time now for Divi the next couple months and then really hit the ground running when La Liga picks up. All
And
right.
keep in mind that as people start piling into cryptos, to have different on-ramps. So you've got the Divi, you've got the BitPay card, you've got different avenues to use as on-ramps to get into cryptos.
Yeah. So answering this question about Divi working, it's ISO 220, it's 222, which is impossible to pronounce. It's 20022. It used to be, when I remember going through ISO 9000 audits and ISO 2001. All this is the International Standard Organization. And it's just another group of paper pushers that say, are you compliant? Do you document what you do? And stupid things like that. I heard Charles Hoskinson was asked this question from Cardano. Are you going to go with ISO 2000, 2022? And he's like, he said, sure, if it's easy, we can just add it to the list of things to do. They don't know what it is, but it could be something as a couple of forms to fill out. I have no idea. I don't give much credence to this whole ISO 20,000 project. I don't think it's going to really matter. All right. All right. I don't see any more questions, so I'll give it one more round for questions. We got about 5 or 10 minutes left. I really thank everybody. We got about 9 or 10 people that's passed through here. At least we got 9 right now. I know Patrick couldn't join us because it's his last day for Grayson's swimming lesson. So I think it's the end of his last swimming lesson. So I'm sure he'll be a very proficient swimmer at 15 months already. And he also had his son, Patrick's son, was also, his birthday was yesterday. So if you saw him and follow him on Instagram, you'll see like all the videos of his son. It's pretty entertaining. So I don't have much more. Joanna, you have any last thoughts?
If you guys aren't watching LitecoinLeader's videos here lately, it's like, wow, they are just off the charts. I'm very impressed. So if you guys get a chance to watch her, pay attention to Cryptos R Us. I really like George. His information's pretty solid.
Yes, I would say if you're going to watch just a couple of shows, obviously watch mine. I would, as far as compactness, if I love Economic Ninja for just like 10 minutes or less.
Yes.
Cryptos R Us, you can watch this the first half of his show, and then don't worry about the Q&A. Crypto, I'd say Modern Investor is probably the next guy I would put on the list. And maybe Altcoin Daily, but mostly Modern Investor will go through what you need to know. And also Lark Davis, if you find him, it's great to watch him. Plus, he's in New Zealand, so it's a different international perspective, and the videos come out at different times. So just a couple of videos I'm putting out there. Again, more value to throw out there. And yeah, Lisa is great too, and I'll be checking in with her. I don't think we have any a new interview for the other channel soon, but who knows? We'll see. Anyway, I think that's it for everyone. I want to appreciate Marjorie. You'll be getting your newsletter soon. If you haven't, just let us know, and either just drop a note over to me or over to Patrick or to Lauren, whoever, or throw it in a Telegram. If anyone is a member and they don't get their hard copy by like the first, we've had some like international deliveries that took weeks. But if you don't get it in by the middle of the month, let's find out why, because we should be able to fix that. If not, we get another copy. Like we actually had, I think Christy lost hers because her mail got hijacked and stolen in California, so she lost a bunch of mail. So, but we got another copy.
And one last plug for Jeff. Sometimes it's not about quantity, it's about quality. And that's what you need to look at, because as this ramps up faster and faster, you need to make sure that you're plugged into Jeff. His content is like none other that's out there. He's not basically replicating what's out there or, just to go for the views. I mean, he is truly out there to make sure you guys are positioned well. So if you haven't got a consultation in with him, you need to get it, like, even if it's 6 months out, just to do a reevaluation of your position, or 3 months out, or every other month. But you've got to make sure that you are in the loop, because when he is booked, he's booked.
Yeah.
So I wanted to.
Thank you, Joanna. I appreciate that. And one of my goals this year was to reach 10,000 people, and I can't do that on one-on-one consultations. Not that I wouldn't like to try. I've been there before. I remember when I first started doing this, I think I had like 60 appointments in 2 weeks, but don't want to do that again. But I can handle like 5 or 10 a week. That's not a problem. So if you need a half hour, an hour, you've got the Calendly link is right down here somewhere pointing. I can't point there. It's down there scrolling by. You find it. So all that stuff is right there. You got my website, you got my Patreon, you got my phone number, you got the link for CryptoConfidential, and of course you got whatever else scrolls by. There's so many different ways to get a hold of me, and of course Jeff at LitecoinLeader.com is always a great way to get a hold of me, or texting my phone number as it comes by. So,
and when I was in corporate America, it wasn't what you knew, but who you knew. So just remember that.
Yeah, if you need something, I can't tell you how many people call me. If you knew the people in this group, that I'm like their backstop. They're like, if they get stuck, they usually call me or Patrick. So and that's fine. I like to be able to do that. And then I don't say that I have every answer, but I bet in a couple phone calls, I could probably find them one. So I put myself in a pretty good spot that way. So I have a good network now. I can reach out and find a lot of different interesting solutions or whatever you need. So with that said, I think we're going to wrap up for now. And I want to thank everyone for dropping by. So let's close the drawer on the bureau. And I'll say follow leader one last time. And I will talk to you soon. Take care. Thanks, Joanna.
Thank you. Take care.